Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with a Four of Swords. I feel like lately you've been taking it a little bit easier mentally, right? I feel like you're learning how to not let stuff stress you out as much. I think we're looking for less drama in our life, like we're kind of trying to set up like a drama-free zone, I think that you have a sacred space in your life, whether it's an internal kind of temple, or if it is literally like a room in your house, or a closet, or a bathroom, or your car, when it's not in motion, where we can just breathe, we can unwind, we can let ourselves kind of relax. There's nobody that's going to bother you. It's like you've a real sacred and real safe space. Yeah. And I feel like you're, well, I don't know if you are, but Spirit's saying breathing exercises. Learn how to breathe. So maybe you're practicing more breath work lately, okay? And I think that's tremendously helpful. I'm such a big proponent of breath work. I've been doing breath work for many years, not as often as I should be, but it's something that I've always believed is tremendously helpful in life, generally, in all aspects of life. Learning how to breathe, it's probably going to be a good idea, And so the Four of Swords is a card of that kind of box breathing. You kind of do 4 in, you hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and that sort of rhythmic thing. I tend to believe that a longer exhale is beneficial to us, that it sort of slows the heart rate down and it gets us more calm more quickly, right? But I'm no expert, don't take my word for it. But I feel like you're sort of learning how to do that. You're learning how to calm yourself down. You're learning how to sort of reset your mood a little bit, And maybe you have other little brain tricks, little mental ideas, like you try to, what's one where you try to name something of every letter of the alphabet, right? A is for apple, B is for boat, that sort of thing, right? And that sort of gives us a way of calming down or de-stressing, dealing with the stressful situations and counting to 10 and everything else, right? Taking some deep breaths. But I feel like having a sacred space or a safe space is very important for us, where we can just, sit and meditate and clear our mind and really get a reset going, Let's put this card into a little bit of context. I wonder if this means that you're kind of in some stressful situations in life right now, and so that's where we really need these kinds of practices. But I want to point out, the next card might be a really wonderful card, because doing these practices are not just useful when we're in a stressful state. It's important to do these even when everything's relatively fine in life. You know what I mean? Because then that builds up a kind of an immunity to stress. It builds up a defense against it when it does show up. We don't want to wait until we're already in stress and then we say, oh, I got to remember how to breathe. No, we do those practices on a normal day as kind of preparation, as conditioning, as strengthening, as refinement. Yeah. So let's see what we've got next. We've got a Six of Pentacles. Yeah, I think everything is good. I think everything is getting good. This is the Six of Pentacles, the card of material success. So your ability to handle stressful situations is allowing you to create and maintain success and harmony around you. Yeah, I think this is absolutely wonderful. Here we have the Chariot card. We have the Knight of Wands. This is your superpower card. And it is in the background, which is interesting. We have the magician. Oh, yes. The magician is the one that knows how to sort of control ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, our moods, right? It's the magician, you know. It's the one that can mold and shape and adapt to the situation and understand how to let things flow through us in order to get the best possible outcome. Now we have the Two of Pentacles in the future position. This is the card of change. Okay, so I feel like it is through your efforts here that you're pretty much changing your world. You know, this is really very positive, harmonious change coming into your life. Here we have a 5, and I can see why. So there is a stressful situation that you're in, right? There's this emotional, a little bit of emotional turmoil at the moment. But through your efforts, you're changing this, okay? Everything is about to change for you. We have the 3 of Wands, some more very strong Aries type of energy. We have the Death card, and we have your, oh my gosh, in the past and in your sort of long-term future destiny kind of card, you've got your Emperor, your other superpower card. You get 2 bells. A little extra bell on that Emperor because we have double. That's crazy. That is to start to have it in the sort of recent past, and then to have it again in the spiritual version, the sort of refined, spiritualized version of the Aries energy. This tells me that not only is this a harmony of the external world for you, I think whatever you're working on is going to succeed. Stay calm, manage your stress, things are going to get good. The money's going to come in, your project's going to succeed, your team is going to win the game, whatever it is, okay? But also, you're refining yourself into the best version of yourself. I feel like you're leveling up spiritually, internally, with the self-development, spiritual development, as well as leveling up in your work, your career, your job, your vocation, your practices, your hobbies, your call, whatever you do, right? When I say work, it's not just what you do for money, for scratch, you know. It is what you do for life. It's what your passion is. It's what your work, what your great work, your magnum opus. It's basically, too, whatever you're burning calories doing. This could be saying, you know, your garden, that you've been planting some flowers outside. They're going to grow, okay? Really, really fine stuff here. This is a beautiful spread. Really beautiful spread. Even with the 5 of Cups, okay? Because the 5 of Cups is basically saying that, you know, you are... you're striving for more harmony and more contentment, okay? We understand how to get in harmony with the process of change in the world, in the universe, internally, externally. And you understand what it feels like to not be in harmony. So it's kind of like we're going from a 5 to a 6 through kind of accepting, right? Maybe the 4 of Swords is kind of accepting that sometimes I feel like crud. Sometimes things aren't perfect. Sometimes I have negative emotions, and you know what? That's okay. Sometimes I feel a little blue, you know, like sad blue, not like toilet bowl blue. Anyway, salute your shorts. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with our little sea turtle friend right on top. I can't decide on a name for the sea turtle. Probably will just be sea turtle friend. Not everything needs a label. Maybe it's a Taoist, you know. If you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments down below. All right, let's use our intuition. Let's do it. Let's make it a group exercise. It'll be good for us. Yeah. Now, as we look around the room, we see some majors. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a good balance of majors. We see, of course, the fire. We see a little bit of the water. We see a little bit of the air. We see the good earth cards. You know, the water is really the only thing that's a little bit challenging, but that is your awareness. You understand your moods and emotions. And yeah, maybe I'm going to start in the wrong place today, but that's okay. It's my channel, so I can do that. I feel like you're accepting of how you feel. You're not feeling bad about feeling bad sometimes. You know, everybody goes through these emotional fluctuations. Life is all about the ups and downs and the twists and turns. And sometimes you're feeling a little down, a little sad, a little disappointed in the way things have been going, a little stressed out emotionally, and a little disappointed in things. But you understand that this the Five of Cups is just the waves of the ocean. They come in, they go out. They come in, they go out, and they're replaced by a different one in any moment. So you understand the fleeting nature of our feeling emotions, right? At least in the context of the ego consciousness, right? Our moods will fluctuate several times a day. And I think that you're understanding how to not attach yourself to these moods. You don't become the anger. You don't become the frustration. You don't become the sadness. And I feel like you recognize, oh, okay, there's a sadness coming at me. There's a wave of sadness. And it's trying to sort of, swallow me up. I've got to do something about that now. And so we go to the Four of Swords and we meditate, we breathe, we count to 10, we count the alphabet objects, like whatever we do. We remove ourselves from the situation, we do positive affirmations, we talk to our emotion, we talk to the wave of sadness and say, okay, I see you and I feel you. And, I'm not rejecting you, I'm accepting you, but you're not going to drive the car today, And so I feel like you're really working on your emotional intelligence, the sort of the emotional awareness, yeah, and really a radical self-acceptance of who we are and how our moods might fluctuate, yeah. And anyway, let's go back to our Six of Pentacles here, because this is success. I feel like this is maybe a group project, or it may be something that's involving your contribution to something. I feel like it's mostly a financial deal where things are going to be nice. If we're feeling stressed out, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, this is the card of material success. It's really saying that money is coming your way, and I believe that. And I think that not only is this about the sort of external things succeeding, whatever project you're working on is going to be a success, whatever art piece you're working on is going to really come together beautifully, whatever financial stuff or even physical health related stuff, your fitness, that stuff is going to succeed wonderfully. This card is also about the internal alignment. I feel like your internal state, you're learning how to align yourself, with your true self, and that is helping you to align yourself in harmony with the external world. First has to come that internal alignment, and then comes the external harmonization too. Okay? I think that you are someone who understands the nature of the internal dialogue, the self-talk, right? That becomes automatic and habitual. And I think that you've done the work to sort of listen to that. What do I say to myself? What programs are running in my mind? Because now we understand that whatever my habitual self-talk is creating my reality, right? We have air to earth, thoughts to behaviors, right? The mental reality, mind to material. Okay? So we understand that whatever we think is going to be our reality. Okay? We think it into being. And we've talked about that a lot on this channel, about how when we have negative self-talk, negative internal dialogue, we find that our world around us is mirroring that. The world seems like a negative place. I think that you've figured out, you've hacked it, You've figured out a way to keep positive, self-encouraging kind of programs running in your mind. That then maybe you do affirmations, on a consistent basis. Like in the morning, as soon as you wake up, you'd start to, or when you go to sleep, you do those affirmations. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you got something running, that is kind of programming you for success. Okay. And I believe in that very strongly too, I think, especially in those sort of twilight times where we're sort of half asleep, half awake, either right when we're falling asleep, right when we wake up in the morning, or if we wake up in the middle of the night, as I do sometimes, often. We have to understand what programs are running when we're not fully consciously aware. And if we start seeding the unconscious with positive affirmations and, even visualizations, and even I wonder even if this is starting to bleed over into your dreams. If you're having more not necessarily lucid dreams, but intentional dreams. It's like you fall asleep thinking of a certain scenario, and then you find yourself dreaming about it. And so we're sort of programming the success into our lives here, okay? Because what we think, we will become. And I think you're very happy with that. You're saying yes, right on. Because, if you think about it enough, it's going to be expressed through your behavior, through your choices, even the unconscious choices. We're letting our unconscious know, this is who I am, this is the life I have, let's make it so. Yeah. And so that feels really, really good. And that's the power of the magician, ultimately. The magician can control reality. We can control who we are and what we think and what we do, and to some degree how we feel, and that is going to create our reality. Okay, so the magician up here is infinitely adaptable. The magician, you're someone that you can be thrown in any old place. It's like one of those, TV shows like Alone or something, or I don't know, like Naked and Afraid, where you're just sort of dumped somewhere and you're saying, okay, they tell you here, like, make a life, right? See how long you can last. I feel like you're really good at that sort of thing. Like you could take, like the show Chopped on Food Network. You could take a basket of random ingredients, and you could create a Michelin star dish, because you can adapt to this, and that's what the magician does. Whatever is right here in front of me is what I can use. You're the MacGyver. You can say, well, I can fix everything. All I need is a toothpick, some bubble gum, a rubber band, and a book of matches or something. And you can put that together. I've known people like this in my life that can do that. It doesn't matter where we were; they could always find a way to make what we needed at the time. I won't go into what that was all the time, but we were kids, But the magician, with that power of adaptability, also knows that not everything should be adapted to. Just because you can adapt to everything doesn't mean you need to. Doesn't mean you should. So we have this ability to change our reality to a certain extent and change ourselves. And in that sense, we're sort of evolving on this, this ever-turning spiral, that we adapt who we are, and then we have more we have more influence over the environment. And then that environment feeds back into us, and we start to grow and adapt a little bit more too. And then we have more power to influence the environment, and everything is going up and up and up and up. So we change ourselves, we shift and mold ourselves, our persona, our personality. And that allows us to have a more harmonious interaction with the environment around us. You spend enough time, out in the bush, eventually you're going to learn how to make a fire and make a tent and all this kind of stuff. You're going to adapt, and then you're going to be able to influence your reality a little bit better. But it's also the awareness that we can change our situation if it's not resonating with us, if this is not the life that we want to harmonize with, and we don't want to be content with something, we can change it. Maybe that's your 5 of Cups, saying, I'm not happy with the way my life is right now. If somebody asked me, is your life perfect right now? What would you say? Probably would say, not really. I mean, not exactly. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. No. It can never be perfect. It could always be a little bit more perfect, So the magician, I think, is really that best quality. It's an ingenuity. It's an innovation. It's saying, yeah, this might be perfectly fine the way it is, but maybe I can make it just a little bit better. And that gives me something to do. It gives me some sort of passion in life, gives me a sense of purpose. Okay? And I do think you're somebody with a strong sense of purpose. You have your Chariot card underneath the surface here. And the Chariot is you as the vehicle of your destiny. You believe that your life is meant for something great. So no, I don't feel that you're content with anything. I don't feel your life is perfect. I think the 6 of Pentacles is saying life continues to get more perfect. Every time we go around the spiral, it gets better. These are the peak experiences. These are the big wins, the jackpots, the great successes. These are the amazing things that happen in our life, right? That are sort of just markers, like waypoints. Milestones on the path, the peak experiences. And of course, once we have one peak experience, we want to say, okay, the magician says, okay, how can I do that again? But on a higher plane. How can I go up an octave? Yeah. And I feel that you have a strong sense of family or community, or you're in service to a higher principle. You believe in something, Aries. And when you believe in something, it gives you this sense of not wanting to ever really slow down. Maybe, we take breaks. We do the self-care stuff, right? But we don't, we don't ever feel like our mission is complete, because it's not about the goal. It's about being of service, and it's about contributing to the world and to your family or to your community, whatever it is. And I feel like the Chariot is that sort of loyalty, that devotion to a principle or a purpose that is beyond just ego consciousness. Yeah. Now, let's talk about the Knight of Wands in the background. I think you might consider yourself in the past to be a person that was a little bit impulsive, that you kind of had sort of a desire to just sort of leap into a lot of different things, kind of without much direction necessarily, right? I feel, though, that you are someone who can leap into something with everything you've got and not hold back. Okay, the idea is that we have to trust that this is the right move, because I wonder if we've been leaping into different things, but then we sort of hesitate and we back out of them. Or we kind of leap then into something else and we're just kind of leapfrogging everywhere in our life, I feel like Spirit has really directed you toward one particular path or principle, idea, a belief, a value, a mission, a purpose, where you did leap all the way in. All the way in. And with the Four of Swords, I feel that we are managing the stress and even the doubt, the second guessing of things. I feel that you've figured out how to keep yourself going on this path. Okay, and I think that's one reason why we've got the Aries energy both at the beginning and the end, because this seems like a refined and spiritualized version of this, right? Where now we are in complete control of our faculties, our ego is fortified, and we're living the life. I mean, this is us really large and in charge. You got this boss energy right now, And I think that there was, sort of some hesitation, or there was some jumping around at first, but now there is the stability. And that's the Four. This is a mental stability. Okay. I think you're somebody that can make friends very easily. I think you work well in a group. I think you're a team player. You like to shine on your own, but you're a team player. It could be that you're the boss of something, or you're the administrator, or you're like the leader, or you're maybe not the administrator, but you're like the lead person. You're not like the big boss, but it feels like you're the one that is kind of leading a team, but you're one of the team. Does that make sense? So not a boss who's like removed from the actual work. You're the team leader kind of thing. The Two of Pentacles is the card of harmonious change. I think that you recognize the ability to deal with the ups and downs and twists and turns of life. This is, we see the serpentine flow of this card, that's kind of alternating between opposites. Some days are good, some days are bad. There's ups and downs, there's twists and turns. Those are the facts of life. We know that life is always going to, that the terrain of life, it's never smooth sailing. It's never just a flat, smooth, freshly paved road straight ahead forever. There's going to be bumps, potholes, speed bumps. There's going to be twists and turns. There are going to be hills and valleys, right? There are going to be waves. There's going to be little whirlpool kind of things, undertows, Shout out to Tool and the gang. So we understand how to deal with those. So these are the bumps of life. And you have this ability to navigate those as sort of par for the course. I don't feel like they upset you unnecessarily. You get angry, you get sad, you get upset, you get disappointed, but you know how to deal with those things quickly and move them along, And I do think that affirmations are a really big part of your life right now. On the path of the Serpent, we're going to talk about these cards. Of course, we got the Five of Cups like we've been talking about. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The Five of Cups is our ability to manage our expectations, to deal with disappointments and deal with bad days and deal with losses and upsets and sadness and sorrow in a healthy way, in a way that is not attached and is not clinging and is not overly identified with those emotions, okay? By detaching a little bit from those emotions, recognizing them, looking at them. We're not talking suppression here. Looking at them and recognizing them, but realize that we are separate from them. That allows us to deal with them in a proper way. Otherwise, the wave washes over us and we're just drenched, right? We keep a little bit of a distance and we keep ourselves separated from those. So instead of saying, I'm angry, we say, there's a wave of anger that's coming over me now and I need to do something about it. So it gives us that obligation. It makes us feel empowered. And it's that simple of just sort of saying that to ourselves. That really, as soon as we become aware of something, it's like we snap out of it and it's like it loses its power and it comes to heal in front of us, And we develop that ability to feel our feelings. Yeah, we're not denying how we feel, but we're not letting them drive the boat or drive the car, The Three of Wands in the position of your relationships. I feel like like I said, you're a team player. I feel like there are people in your life that really rely on you and count on you. I don't know if it's a family thing. Kind of feels like a family, but this could be like a work family or just like friends, I feel like people look to you to figure out what the right thing to do is. Because I feel like you always do the right thing even when it's difficult. Okay? And I feel like this really helps your relationships because people trust you. People know that you're not going to BS them. Yeah? That you're going to say kind of what is on your mind. You don't have to be harsh about everything, but you're going to speak your truth. And I think people find you to be a very stable character, very reliable, and someone who's always willing to do the right thing. So tremendous trust on you right now. And I think that you have very, very good relationships. I think you take your relationships seriously, your friends, your family. I feel like those relationships are important. And you have a moral compass about you when it comes to friends and family members and things, and even romantic relationships. You have a fidelity about you. You're not going to betray your friends. You're not going to spill all the tea on their lives, and you're not going to reveal their secrets. You're not going to betray their trust. Yeah, and that's the kind of person you are. The obstacle here, of course, is the Death card, and sometimes the Death card is simply a matter of sometimes life is a little slow, Sometimes the slow and steady change, this is the process of change. And the Six of Pentacles is you being in harmony with the process of change. And you know that sometimes change, especially on the material plane, takes a long time. You've got this very active fire energy, right? Here, the Emperor up there. And our will, our attention, our thoughts and feelings, the subtle elements move very quickly, instantaneously, right? Can be in two places at once, essentially. But the earth energy is heavy. It's slow. It's like molasses. It moves like a sloth, right? So your mind, your will, your heart, and everything is going so fast and is running toward the future, but then we have to turn back and wait for the earth energy to catch up. And I think that's the biggest problem with the Death card here is simply sticking with something long enough to see the changes. Because sometimes it feels like time really dilates and we're just running around, we're bouncing around like an electron. And, the material world is still slowly being built up. So we understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. We don't get to the top of the mountain like that. There is no such thing as an overnight change. This is the slow and steady course of action for you. Slow and steady change over the course of time. It's an evolution. It's a transformation that's, on the day-to-day, we may not even really notice. But in the long term, we can definitely see how things are progressing. So I feel like for you, sometimes it's difficult for you to slow down and just like smell the roses and say, yeah, you know what, we've come a long way, and let's acknowledge that. and let's keep going and keep evolving whatever this is. Okay? I think the Six of Pentacles is a peak experience that's going to happen in your life very, very soon this week. A peak experience that will be a perfect opportunity, because it sort of looks like you're getting to a nice ridge on the mountain. And maybe it'll be good during this peak experience to sort of look around and say, wow, we've climbed really high already. We've gotten really far. I've made a lot of progress so far. Let's be thankful and gracious. Let's feel good about that. Because sometimes these two cards together are saying, like, here you are succeeding in life, but you kind of feel like, oh, I'm not doing a good job. This is a good time for you to recognize that you are. Okay? And of course, your superpower card at the end, the Aries energy. You have led your people to the summit. And I think that this is all of that kind of leadership. This is a fortified ego. This is self-control and discipline. But this is also, a good emperor knows how to have a good time, right? A good emperor knows when to sort of like relax, And I kind of, everyone looks at the legs crossed and kind of sees that this is an emperor who's very stern and very serious, very disciplined, and a bit authoritarian. But I kind of look at the crossed legs and it's just like the emperor's just chilling, The emperor's just feeling good about what they've accomplished. And I think this is really important for you. I think that sometimes we need to, I wish maybe, he'd take his slippers off or something. Maybe those are his socks. Maybe the shoes have come off already and he's just hanging out in his socks with his legs crossed. To me, feels very relaxed. Yeah. And I think that, you have led the charge. You've led the way here through your magic, through your tenacity, through your discipline and devotion. And it's important for you to recognize this peak experience and enjoy it fully. And and keep going, Keep leading the way forward, whether this is a business or a family or your own personal financial journey or physical fitness journey. Recognize your progress and keep making progress. Yeah. Anyway, let's look at the mystery card. What do we have? But maybe some water energy. I think we've got a lot of the earth. We've got a lot of fire. Maybe we need some more water. I could totally see like a Six of Cups here, that we're sort of feeling the pleasure now rather than feeling kind of disappointed in ourselves because maybe like my progress has come too late in life, my success is not as much as I thought it would be, or any of those kind of negative things that we might be feeling, and that could lead into some negative thoughts, right? Maybe this should be the Six of Cups. We're feeling good for what we've done, and we're going to go do more. Maybe you didn't exactly hit your goal. Maybe you had this goal of like, I want to lose 20 pounds. You only lost 19. Maybe you said, I want to make $1 million. You only made a few thousand. Well, that's more than what we did. That's still progress. You know what I mean? So it's still worth it to celebrate these peak experiences, even if we're a little bit short of what our projection was. So let's see what this is anyway. It's a Nine of Wands. I think that this is the perfect time for you to sort of realize, like, because, it's a 9, it's not a 10. So maybe it's saying, like, maybe we're not getting a perfect 10 right now, but there really is no such thing as a perfect 10 anyway. So I feel like this is representing that your work here has been 90% perspiration, 90% just kicking butt and getting your butt kicked, 90% hard work, 10% luck, 10% magic, 10% whatever else you want, genius, talent. I think in life we recognize that really what makes the grade is our strength, our resilience, our ability to go through the ups and downs and twists and turns of life and still show up, to get slammed down on the mat and to keep getting up. It's the perseverance that's going to create success for you. It's not your genius. It's not your talent. It's not skill even, really. It's just hard work. Because hard work will develop the skill. Hard work will initiate the luck of the universe. Hard work will unleash the genius in you, will activate your spiritual energy. And that's what we see with the Emperor up here, right? We're refining that Aries energy in us. So I think that this is really important for you when this peak experience arrives this week. I would rest and enjoy it, acknowledge it, pat yourself on the back, because there's going to be more hard work. I think this is really a fine, fine confirmation card. We're going to do an extended reading too. And we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Aries Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.